ladies, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we are stirring up a very crunchy, all-natural combo Shea butter balm. So I decided to call this a butter balm because on the skin, it feels more like a body butter, but kind of consistency-wise, firmness-wise, it's more of a balm-like hardness. You know, it doesn't have the waxiness that I associate with balms, but it's a lot harder than I think of, for body butters, and so butter balm. The new to me ingredient that inspired this formulation is kombo butter. So this is a bag of kombo butter. This was a gift from Shea butter, and it is really neat. You can see it's very, very dark. It's really quite soft and squishy, very sort of Play-Doh-y like consistency. And honestly, it reminds me of molasses, both in the smell, blackstrap molasses, and in the color. It's really, really neat. Kombo butter is made from the seeds of the African nutmeg tree and is said to be really beneficial for sore muscles and sore joints and have anti-inflammatory properties. Since this butter has quite a dark color to it and a pretty strong natural scent, I don't find it to be unpleasant or anything. It's definitely there. I decided to blend it with rich, raw shea butter to create something really, really gorgeous. This formulation is 59% shea butter and 30% kombo butter, so together that is just shy of 90% of the formulation. And so when you are looking at two ingredients that make up that much of a formulation, I don't really recommend making substitutions. I think you could choose refined shea butter instead of raw shea butter if you wanted to, but if you are making any substitutions beyond that, you are very firmly in redevelopment territory. The earthy, molassesy smell of the kombo butter pairs really nicely with the nutty, smoky scent that we get from raw shea butter, and that scent is definitely there. That scent comes through in the final product, and so when choosing essential oils or fragrance oils, you want to make sure that it's something that is going to work with that natural scent rather than kind of pick a fight with it. And so to that end, I have selected dark patchouli essential oil. It pairs really nicely with the earthy, smoky, nutty scent of the butter blend, really complements it, and it comes together to create something that feels, very intentional and whole rather than sort of, like lavender having a fist fight with some blackstrap molasses. Making this is very simple. We will melt the butters together with a bit of starch. I've used cornstarch, but you could use a different starch. This helps reduce feelings of oiliness and greasiness. Melt that all together. We're going to be cooling it to trace in an ice bath, and kind of halfway through there, roughly, before we get to trace, you'll add the cool down phase. And then bring it to trace, pop it in a container, let it sit up at room temperature, and you are done. As always, if you have any questions about this formulation, please make sure you are reading the full partner blog post, which is always linked in the description box below my videos. You'll find a ton of extra information in there, information about substitutions, scaling, shelf life, links to places to buy all the ingredients, a discount code from Shea butter. If you need some kombo butter or some shea butter, it is also an affiliate code, just full disclosure. And let's get started. We'll begin by combining the ingredients for a heated phase, and there's just 3 of them. So I'm going to combine them in this bowl because it works really well for bringing our products to trace. I can really stir very nicely in this, but you could definitely use a small Pyrex measuring cup instead. Really anything that you can stir really accessibly and nicely in will work just fine. And of course, it also has to be something you can heat because we will be heating this. So in this wee bowl, I have 14.75 grams of unrefined shea butter. To that, I'm going to add 2.5 grams of cornstarch. And you could use a different type of starch if you wanted to, arrowroot starch, or rice starch, tapioca starch, wheat starch. And then this dark mass is our kombo butter. This is 7.5 grams of it. It really kind of reminds me, if molasses was a butter, I feel like it would be kombo butter. So I'm gonna pop that into our little bowl as well. So to heat everything through, we're going to use a water bath. This is a small saucepan that has about 2 centimeters or 2/3 of an inch of water in the bottom of it. And I'll pop our little bowl in here. And then I'm going to put this pan on the stovetop over medium-low heat until the butters have melted. Remember that the cornstarch won't melt, so that is totally normal. Once the butters have melted, you can remove the saucepan from the heat, and then we can remove our little bowl from the saucepan. Give that a stir to get all the cornstarch nice and thoroughly distributed. Our next step is going to be bringing this to trace. And so we will be doing that using this ice bath. So this is a bowl where I've frozen about an inch of ice on the bottom and then another inch of water on top. So we will be cooling the butter balm while stirring it and cooling it in the ice bath. Once it has cooled down a bit, we will add our cool down phase, our essential oil and our vitamin E, and then we will cool this to a fairly thick trace before transferring it to our container. How long this takes will depend a lot on your batch size and on the container that you're working in. A metal bowl will cool down faster than a thick glass measuring cup. So we're doing this to ensure a nice even consistency and also to prevent the balm from going grainy over time. Once the mixture has gained a bit of viscosity, this is still fairly thin, but it's certainly not as thin as it was when we took it right off the heat. We are going to work in our cool down phase. For the cool down phase, you'll need 0.125 grams each patchouli essential oil, and so this is a dark patchouli essential oil, and tocopherol or vitamin E. You could use a different essential oil, but the kombo butter does definitely have a pretty distinct scent to it. So you'll want to make sure that you are working with that rather than kind of picking a fight with it. Okay, we have reached the level of trace that I am looking for. It's sort of like a cake batter. You can see it definitely leaves a trace when drizzled over top. And now we need to get this into our container ASAP because it's just going to get firmer and firmer. So I'm going to use this 1 ounce paperboard container from Humblebee, which was a gift. Ooh, I love how glossy it is. Kind of makes me want gingerbread. With these paperboard containers, you want to be careful not to get product into the sort of edge here because that will can result in oily bleeding. So that's why I made this a 25 gram batch. This little container can definitely hold 30 grams, but it does tend to get a little too close to that edge for comfort and we can experience bleeding. All that's left to do now is leaving this to set up. It sets up perfectly fine at room temperature. I did also try letting it set up in my fridge. That works too, but I wasn't a huge fan of opening my fridge and smelling patchouli. So I am just gonna leave this to set up on the counter. And here's the batch of this butter balm that I made for the blog post that has set up. So this is a 30 gram batch and you can see that it is, right up there at the mouth of the jar. Haven't experienced a ton of bleeding, a little bit going on over here. I don't even know if that'll come across on camera, it's pretty mild. You can definitely see some of my sort of greasy fingerprints though. And so for a bit of an idea of the consistency, you can see that it is really quite firm. And so this firm consistency is why I've called it a butter balm, because it's kind of a midpoint between a body butter and a body balm. It's firmer than what I would usually think of as a body butter, but it doesn't have the waxiness that I kind of typically associate with balms. So I decided that this was a butter balm. Once the balm has fully come to room temperature, you are all done. And that's how you make a kombo Shea butter balm. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and please remember to read the full partner blog post. You will find links to places to buy all the ingredients there, including a coupon code for Baraka to save some money if you shop there. And everything is written out, information on substitutions, scaling, shelf life, links to further helpful reading to help improve your formulation skills, and a whole lot more. Thank you so very, very much, and I'll see you next time.